Hey, what's going on, guys? This is TaibaHasAKicks.com, and today we are going to talk about the Jordan 4 Fire Red. Now, as you all know, which is not something new to most of you guys, the shoe came out the first time in 1989, and then we've seen it come back I guess twice in 2005, and then in 2006 in a special edition, and then we also had it in 2012. So this is a shoe that a lot of people are, I guess, looking forward to, because what Nike did is they went back to actually bringing back the original makeup from 1989 with the Nike Air at the heel and the vintage hang tag on the side. So this is a shoe that a lot of people want. It's funny because in 2012, that shoe actually sat at my local mall for a little bit, and it actually went on sale, but I never really grabbed it. I just don't like white shoes to begin with. But again, it's a good shoe, and I'm thinking a lot of people are going to want to go for it. So this morning we're going to talk about how many pairs are made, and we're going to talk resale. And I'm also going to show you that I've seen bootlegs on the market, so you may want to be careful. I haven't really done a side-by-side comparison yet, but I'm going to be doing that in days to come. So let's jump into actually looking at the numbers now. As you guys all know, the first step we always take is set up our assumptions. We want to know who's getting the shoe and how many are they getting and all that good stuff. So let's start off with the assumptions. So I'm going to lift this up a little bit. Now first, let's figure out who's getting it. So we have Foot Action, Foot Locker, Champs, and it's going to be in stores and online. eSpay, that's going to be online only. Dick's Sporting Goods, Finish Line. JD Sports, that's also Finish Line. And then Hibbert and City Gear are the same company. And then for the minor chains in the US, we have Downtown Locker Room, Jimmy Jazz, Shoe Palace, and then Chic Shoes. Then we also have the assumptions that we're going to set. So the first thing we want to do is this. I'm going to go with the fact that Foot Locker and Champs and Foot Action are going to get 40% of the total inventory for the US of A. Because Foot Locker, again, like I said it in my previous presentation, they have a great relationship with Nike, so they always get like preferential treatment, so to speak. Now the second is the remaining major chains and minor chains are gonna receive like 1/3, and the other 1/3 we don't know who's gonna get that. Now I'm also gonna assume that only 2/3 of the Foot Locker are gonna get the shoe. Same thing with Foot Action and same thing with Champs, because when I was checking Maryland, there was like about 20 locations that got it. So if you trying to if you set up the assumption, that sounds like it's 2/3 of all the Foot Locker locations that are gonna get it. So if you do that in in the USA, it's gonna be 667 stores based on the assumptions, 181 Foot Action stores, and then 365 Champs locations. And then I'm also gonna assume that all House of Hoops are gonna get it. That's not even a question, because House of Hoops is like Foot Locker's type of luxury, or they get the extra marquee stuff. So House of Hoops is certainly gonna get it. All House of Hoops are gonna get it. And then let's go over the next set of assumption. I'm also gonna assume that House of Hoops is gonna get 48 pairs, and then Foot Locker, Champs, and Foot Action, I'm gonna give them 12 pairs per location. And then for Foot Locker, Champs, and Foot Locker Online, I'm going to give them about half of the total the physical stores are receiving. And I'm also going to give eSpay about 1/4 of the total from the online allocation from Foot Locker, Champs, and then Foot Action. And now we can find our numbers. That's pretty easy. So it's just simple multiplication. 170 times 48, that's for House of Hoops, that's 8160. A regular Foot Locker stores, that's going to be 667 minus 170 times 12, which is 5964. And then Foot Action is going to be 181 times 12, which is 2172. And then Champs is going to be 365 times 12, which is 4380. And then for the online allocation, you add all these numbers together and then divide it by 2. I get up to 10,338 pairs. And then for eSpay, we take this number, split it, and divide it by 4, and we get 2585. And then for the total for Foot Locker alone and Foot Locker's family, which is Foot Action, Champs, and eSpay, is going to be all these things added together. I came up with 33,599, and I took it up to 35,000 pairs because of possible errors that I made. Now, since I assume that this is 40% of the total production for North America, to find a total for the USA is going to be 35,000 plus 35,000 plus 17,500, which is 40%, 40%, and 20% basically. Okay, so we come up with 87,500 pairs. That's just for North America based on the assumptions. Now for the worldwide production, what I did was I took this number and I kind of times it by 2 or 3, so you can kind of see that the numbers are going to be anywhere between 80,000 and 160,000 pairs, or even more. Again, I was very conservative with these numbers, so I believe the actual numbers will exceed the projected numbers. But to be safe, I say anywhere between 80 and 160, or 80,000 or 200,000. Now again, I need to add my disclaimer. I do not work for any of these brands that I talk about, or the retailers, so I don't have access to their data. So everything is based on assumptions that are built. So take everything with a grain of salt. Now I'm going to pause for a second, and then we're going to come back and talk about resale. Now before we talk about resale, or whatever you want to, some people say resale, or whatever. I want to show you the fake ones. I haven't really done a study on them yet, but I can tell you some of the things you can look for is always the tongue. Like if you look at most fake 4s, the tongue is always a telltale sign. Like what you should have really, like there should be a double fold here. You see this, you don't really see that double fold, and this picture is kind of doesn't really show what I wanted to show you, but it's supposed to be a double fold, and it isn't there on the fake one. So you always want to focus on this one. There's like a double fold, almost like the shoe has to like form this kind of the liner, and the outside, they have to have this double fold that you can see, and you can see like there's a gap between the two. There's usually like a definition there. You can see that there's a distinction between the two. On the fake ones, you usually don't have that. So I'm just going to show you what the fakes looks like, and then sometimes this week I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison, because one of the fake companies reached out to me and sent me a fake shoe, so it's good to have fake on hand and authentic. So I'm going to show you what to look for. Again, if you sell bootlegs or UA or whatever you sell, I'm not going to come after you, be like, hey, you said, nah, look, I'm just trying to help people. Okay, this is just to help you. So if you're selling fakes, you got to be upfront with it and tell people, hey, listen, this is a good fake, but don't pass the fakes as an authentic. That's when I have a problem with it. Just tell people, hey, listen, this is a good material. This is still looks just like the authentic, and I'm just be honest with what you're selling. Don't try to like fool people. That's when I have a problem with that. Okay, because if somebody want to sell the fake one, go ahead. I'm not gonna come after you. That's not my problem. You know, I'm just gonna warn you, and I'm gonna say, don't try to fool people. Again, this is against intellectual properties and all that kind of stuff. So you know that it's not right. You know, so if you can sleep at night knowing that you're doing stuff like that, hey, I guess your conscience is seared, so I don't know. But I also want to show you that I've done a lot of comparison as of late. I did one on the Jubilee 11s. I did one on the Fragment 3. So you can go on the website. I'll have a link for you in the description, okay, to see all these things. So the Dark Mocha 1, the Off-Noir Union 4, the Off-White Jordan 5, and then the Concord and Black and Purple 12s, the Lucky Green Jordan 1, the fake PSG 4, and just a lot more. I have 21 pages worth of stuff there you can watch, so check the link in the description. Now we're going to go back and talk about resale. So let's talk resale here. I'm going to show you this chart that I created. This is resale value versus time. So this was a record of all the resale value between October the 25th and November the 24th, which is today. You can see early on the shoe was like at $500, because some dummy again just jumped on the occasion and just bought the shoe because he, impulse buying. That's what happens. Again, Nike had a shock drop, so I guess a lot of people saw it. They got kind of like their eyes got big, and people have money to blow, so they went ahead and paid $500. But you see that there's a major drop, came down to like 375, and it stayed in like the 330s and all that. And then you had another day where there's a spike. It went up to like 404, and this is again cumulative resale value per day. So I took all the values per one day and I found the resale value for that day. Now you can see that there's they stayed at like 350 and 340, and then came back down to like 270, and then 260 and 280, and went back up to like 333 today. So I'll say that it's resale value, which I'll show you in my next chart in a second. Let's just go to that. I like to read it out so you can actually see what's going on. Again, like there was like some outliers at $500, $469, and $404. So what I did was I took out the outliers and I recalculated the the resale value, and then when I did it, it came up to about like $290. So you can expect the shoe, based on the size that you get, to sell between $260 and $300. So usually what happens with like general releases is they lose like 10% of their value by the time they release, but that's not going to happen with this Jordan 4 and Fire Red. I think it's going to keep its value. It's going to stay at like $260 and $300 based on what you have. So now we're going to go ahead and look at the resale value by size to give you an idea of what size to get if you're trying to flip it. You can pretty much see what's going on here, right? Like smaller sizes tend to have like a better return. Like size 4.5, 5 to like 6, they were in a like high 300s, which is pretty good, you know. And then the mid sizes, they kind of stayed within the 260 and 290, a little bit like less than, like in the low 300s. And then you have a 14 at 306, and the other sizes in the like 260 and then 280. So this is what you can expect. You can go back on the website and look at the chart if you want to, but I would say aim for the small sizes. You can see it over here if you want. That's why I put a gold on it. And the mid sizes are just as good if you want to flip this shoe. But again, a lot of people are probably want this shoe for sentimental, or they just want to have, it takes them back to like the early 90s when shoes were really popping and people actually like shoes for what they were. So a lot of people want that shoe for that reason. So I would say, if you want to flip it, leave it alone and let people that want it actually want and get the shoe. Because this shoe is probably going to give you between $40 and $60 max. I'm actually going to show you and read it off my chart in a second. Let's look at that. You see, nice. Like I say, size 4.6, they yield to the highest returns. 7 to 14 are pretty much consistent with the projected resale value. So you can, again, you can go back to the website and look at the chart, and that's going to help you find what size you want to get. But the shoe is like $212 after tax. That's if you live in the state of Maryland. So the profit margin will fall within like 40 to 60, and then your markup is like 19 to like 29%. The shoe's going to sell out instantly. That's not a question. But as far as like resale, I would say it's not too great, but 40 to 60, I'll take that any day. But again, leave the shoes for people that actually want the shoe, because I know a lot of people have been waiting for it and they want the shoe. So please don't be too greedy. That's all I'm going to say. Don't be greedy. All right. Now, for those that want to buy the shoes now, you don't want to wait for all that resale madness, and you don't want to go through trying to get it on sneakers and lose out. I'll have a link for you, and let me show you exactly where it is. You can check on the website. I'll have a link for you here. You can click here. It's going to take you straight to eBay for the authenticity guaranteed shoes. Okay, if you want to get it now, I'll have the link for you in the description. Be sure to check that out. All right, again, thanks for watching, and please be sure to share this information if it helps you out, and then also subscribe to House of Kicks. It does help me. And if you want to be very generous, I will invite you to go on my website now and click this link here, this banner, and then donate to House of Kicks, because all this stuff that I do is basically for my own financial resources. Nobody helps me on this website. It's just me. It's a one-man operation, and with the help of and the grace of God, I've been able to do this for like 15 years. So please, if you feel led, I will appreciate your generous donations. Again, thanks for watching. This is Ty from House of Kicks, and if you want me to work on a certain shoe, I will invite you to just email me or send a message via YouTube. I always reply to all the messages that I get. Again, thanks for watching, and happy Thanksgiving to you.